and the tomato in the sandwich.
I believe you're also a trained salsa dancer.
Yes, I was.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Boardroom. With me today is Ms. Pooja Jain Gupta, the Managing Director of Luxor Writing Instruments. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Pooja.
Hi.
So let me start by your journey, which you have often recounted. How you started. You were still in your school at that time when you accompanied your father.
Correct.
Which class do you recall?
Just after the 12th.
Okay. So that is when you said you realized, what your father had built up and achieved when you went on that trip with him.
That's right.
So prior to that, if I were to take you back in time, what was your equation or relationship with your father before you realized this?
So it's quite interesting. I'm number 3 out of 4 children, and I was always a front runner in school in terms of academics and non-academics. My father was a very down-to-earth, humble human being whose enigma and aura was always a attraction to me, because I always felt that how can someone do so much with nothing? And he got nothing from his father, and I really, really valued the way he ran his life, his persona. So my equation with both my parents was always very close, and in school, my father with all of us at home would discuss business. Somehow or the other, it would come up. And there was no plan to enter business as such. I'm obviously a commerce graduate, but it was not natural that I'll flow into this, and it was not natural for him to even agree that I could work, because he was a self-made man, and he was very clear that whoever comes into the business has to work like another employee or a professional before he or she reaches the top. And that shall be decided by both him running the business and the way that child progresses. And that was quite clear to all of us. Just because I had a great rapport with him, I had a great rapport with my mother, and I got the opportunity to get trained in Boston and UK with the partners Gillette company, and that's how my journey started. And I went abroad 1 year, 1.5 years, came back and joined the company as an assistant product manager, and very proud to say that I was a part of that team which launched Parker in India.
But what do you remember most about your childhood years, before you got involved with the business aspect of the family line? In terms of your childhood years, early years at home, what was life like?
Life was school, academics. I was a captain of my school. Excelling in whatever I was doing was important to me. Meeting the right kind of people was important to me in terms of learning from them. I wouldn't want to sit with people and friends and just while away time and do nothing. I always had this thing of what do I gain from meeting the people in society, or what my dad would tell me anecdotes about his life or how he started. I would much rather spend time hearing those stories. My first salary was 1,743 rupees per month.
How long ago was this?
About 20 years ago. Dad said this is the basic stipend you're going to get. And I remember when I got that salary per month, I was very happy that out of all my friends, I was the only one structured in my what to do in life.
So what's your daily schedule like?
Now I'm married, so to a wonderful partner, just like the way I wanted it. And it's been 7 years. I have 2 kids, twins, boy and a girl, Jay and Gia. They are going to be 2 years next month. So life has been so satisfying. I never knew it. My day starts at 7 o'clock with them, getting them settled out of their sleep and getting them to breakfast, and then I go for my walk or my gym or yoga depending on the day, and then by about 9:30 I'm with them after my exercise and all that. Between 10 and 10:30 depending on my meetings. There are meetings where I have to go early, there are meetings when I can go a little bit relaxed. I flex that and I go to work, because now I'm looking after the whole group. It's not just the pen business only. Meetings could be outside with the senior team. Go for the meetings, come back. I try to come back by about 5 to 6. But there are days where I don't. And then I haven't seen my kids. But then fortunately now the iPhones help you see a video call, so you can do that with that. So it's not super relaxed, but it's relaxed compared to those times. Also my roles changed. I'm now leading the group, which at 10 years I have learned a lot after Dad. And I put my kids to sleep myself, and by 8:30 they've gone to sleep. And then if I have any Zoom calls, mostly internationally, I keep them post 8:30 p.m. till about 1 hour or so, if needed. But it's not a fixed schedule. Yes, my reviews are fixed. My meeting the people is always available. I'm available to all my employees whenever they need me. I'm just a call away. That everybody knows. That value which my father built as a bond between our Luxor family and management continues to remain, and I want to keep that always.
You were in fact catapulted into the hot seat, very suddenly with the tragic demise of your father in
Yes.
2014. In fact, at that time, your mother, she stepped into the chairperson's role.
Yes, she is the chairperson.
She's still the chairperson. What was the emotion? I mean, the loss of a parent, definitely that is, one emotion. But in terms of the company, were you overwhelmed at that point of time that,
The way it's strange, but my dad had sat me down a few times, and I knew it's going to happen some point, that I will take over. We discussed many times that he wanted to put me in as a deputy managing director during his lifetime. And I was like, no, I don't want this heavy title on myself. I'm happy with the vice president title, because a deputy managing director is a serious title. And he was the chairman managing director anyway. So, but I was always saying, no, I don't want that title. I'm okay with this, Obviously, when he passed away, my world stopped for that time. Losing a parent is one thing, losing a father, losing a boss, losing a friend, losing a very important companion who would talk to you 5 times in a day, even if it was brief. He was not there. It was like just the floor moved out of my feet. I don't know what I hit, honestly. I couldn't believe that he's gone for a long time. My mother inherited the estate from him. So obviously she's the chairperson of the group. She knew what it meant, the business, the Luxor. Luxor to my father was the first baby. And it was more important than all his 4 children, because he created it very close to his heart. He could not, or he would have never wanted it to go down in any way. The legacy had to go on. My mother, with a very heavy heart, but with a lot of strength, as Dad would want her to be, decided to put me on the seat. I remember that day, family advisors also suggested the same, and within a week of his passing, I had to go into office. But I have to say one thing, that the strength of Luxor is its people. And that time, the Luxor family, as I call it, stood up to me, my emotional situation, my mother's emotional situation, like a rock. They realized what suddenly I had to take on. Being in marketing is one thing, suddenly taking on full responsibility is another thing. But only because I think them, my dad's blessings and my mother's back, I was able to do what I've done so far. And that continues to be my strength.
You have a very hectic schedule, I would imagine. I mean, even though you are now kind of stepping back and you have full-time CEO, but with kids, the home, and you got married not too long back. How's the equation with your husband in terms of he has his own work, I would imagine.
Yes.
So you kind of divide household work or parenting responsibilities.
See, I think we've structured it in such a way that we are a team together and we balance out. Obviously, as far as certain things are concerned, only a mother can do with the babies at that age. Apart that, I think, it's like 1 and 1 make a team of 11. I think that's what me and Pranav are.
How did you meet him?
He's a family friend of mine and he was in love with me for a long time. I had no idea. And I realized in 2017 that this is it. I want to have a companion and I am in love with him, so there's no point of denying it. So we tied up the nuptial knot.
You're also a person of selective tastes and interests, I would say. I mean, art, of course, is one. I believe you're also a trained salsa dancer.
Yes, I was, but that time not practicing anymore. But I've always been, as I said, I'm intrigued by a lot of things. I like to experiment new things. Today I don't get that time, which I would love to do new things, but I love travel. I can be on a plane any day, every day, if I could. I love meeting new people from all walks of life, from all sections of society, India, outside, wherever. And I hope I can give the best to my kids in terms of values. And yes, interest-wise, I like art. I like finer things of life, but priority is my work and my kids.
And Eric Clapton?
Well, Eric Clapton, a lot. But Eric Clapton was a singer who I really, at that stage of my life, was intrigued by his biography. Recently I saw the movie called Priscilla of Elvis Presley, and how a star born, what's the story which actually goes behind that man and his wife. It's a beautiful learning of how the level of success can drive any relationship. So, have you seen it, Priscilla?
I haven't.
I saw it on the flight recently. I enjoyed it. I like seeing biographies, reading biographies. It gives me a different perspective. May not be completely relatable to me, but it just shows there's so much to life other than what we only know. Yeah.
So which was the last place that you visited?
Last visit, like business visit?
Trip, holiday, vacation.
Vacation?
Or you don't take those?
I do take them. I went to London with my kids last year. That was their first holiday. I'm not traveling so much. In the middle, if I have to go for work to US for 2 days, I do. But that's a work trip. I was in London, I remember, and I had to come back to India to meet a very senior delegation. I came back to India for one night and went back for my vacation.
And you still claim you're not a workaholic?
I enjoy work. See, workaholic is when you don't enjoy it. I believe that I enjoy my work, so it's my passion. Um, Outside world can call it workaholism, but I don't. I enjoy it. And I believe that the more I can give and contribute to Luxor for the next few years and build it like an institution, what my father wanted it to be, I think that will be my satisfaction finally. My kids have a long way to go. They're 2 years only. And I'm really looking forward to what their interests will be, you know.
You also mentioned, in the past that, because you started so young, the typical things that youngsters did, going to parties and all, you eschewed all that. You had no time for
No, I
this.
did.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't, but I think I had a fair share of that as well. See, I'm a person of a lot of multiple things. I can multitask very quickly. I can switch my mind like that. So, and I think clearly my energy level has been quite high. I'm not a laid back person. I try to fit in a lot in a day. And I don't say, oh, I'm going to get tired and I need this and that. I've enjoyed my life. I don't have any regrets. My parents understood very clearly that growing up, and there was no force for me to go to business, right? I just did it because I loved it. For me, going to work was as good as spending time with my friends. So it was just one of the things to do. But I don't know how many people can understand that today. But if you really love something what you do, then it doesn't matter, whether you're sitting at a friend's party or you're sitting in an office. I looked at it like that. There were evenings where we used to go out, we used to be out, but my father was a protected father. And at that time, going out too late was not the norm of the day. It's very different from what happens today. So I've had my fair share. No regrets for anything. I don't feel any.
If you were to look back now at Pooja Jain 20 years back, how would you say you have changed over the last 2 decades and more?
See,
And
fundamental.
what would you tell that youngster Pooja now at this stage of your life?
Well, that youngster Pooja was full of energy, and today's Pooja is also full of energy. That part has not changed, and I don't think I want it to change. Multitasking, that time for different things and now for different things, still continues. Enjoying life, overcoming hurdles, you would overcome hurdles of exams, now you overcome hurdles of life, But then you get up and move on. You get up with a smile the next day and you move on and you persevere and you do your thing, what you need to do. What would I tell that Pooja? I think she did a good job.
No corrective course to be taken, no corrective action to be taken.
That back then?
If you feel that, maybe this could have been done a little differently. Any aspect.
Maybe the maturity level with my dad's protectionism could have been modulated a little better. Because I was a daughter and my father was very protective about me.
Did that lead to some sort of angst or resentment?
No, not really. I mean, there was no resentment as such.
Resentment as such, but did you feel the angst? Did you feel sort of constricted?
Like today I feel after seeing my husband that I should have gone to a boarding school. But my father would never have allowed us that. He's a boarding school guy and I know how much life he understands more than me in many things. And maybe that would have done good to me as well. That's one thing.
You brought the aspect of women leaders, and as a second generation entrepreneur and a woman at that, did you encounter any, challenges related to, your gender in specific?
No, I did not as such, because I was always the front runner. I never thought in my mind the gender would be an issue. People have asked me this question, and I see that there are issues in work, like a glass ceiling, as I say, with the masculine gender. Today, the world's changed a lot. The opportunity for women, what it was and what it is today, is not even a patch. There's a huge difference. It's a journey we've started in India, and I think it's a great step. And next 10 years, I believe in the women power.
So, down to one or two last questions now. So, a little bit about your family. I believe we discussed this. So, you are the third of four siblings, right? Not the
Third.
youngest, not the youngest.
I'm the tomato in the sandwich. Yes.
So, what's your equation with your siblings?
It's formal and limited.
They're not directly involved.
No. As I said, my father gave the opportunity to all during his lifetime. My older sibling is married, brother is not married, but never worked the way my father wanted him to. And my younger sister is not in the business either. So obviously, when there's one child who's only with the parents, there is some sort of difficult perceptions which the other siblings may have. But I always believe, and my dad always told me, that your work and your karma will speak for itself. And focus on that. That's most important. He was a karma yogi, and I've lived by his values. I want to see myself in a spirit like a legacy he's left behind. I hope I can also.
Well, thank you so much, Pooja. It's been an absolute delight, a pleasure, and a privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
So
much.
that was Pooja Jain Gupta of Luxor Writing Instruments. We'll be back again with another episode of Beyond the Boardroom. Keep watching. Thank you.